Welcome to the IslandStats.com football show, your weekly dose of all the action from Bermuda's top football leagues. We bring you in-depth coverage of the Premier and First Division, results, highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. We also keep you up to date with the latest news and developments from the Bermuda Football Association. Stay tuned for the IslandStats.com football show, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the beautiful game in Bermuda. Now let's join the IslandStats.com football show team. And good evening and welcome to this edition of the IslandStats.com football show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Andrew Griffith, and we're awaiting the arrival of Garrett Punchy Dill. Good evening, Griff. It's been some interesting matches played this weekend. Obviously, North Village have a comfortable 4-point lead with 3 games to play, top of the table in the Premier Division. It was a shocker in the First Division, but we'll get to all of that. Let me just run down the results from this past weekend as league action returned. On Saturday at the Southampton Oval, it was Paget Lions 1, Dandytown Hornets 0. And yesterday at Bernard Park, it was Wolves 1, North Village 5. Today at the Police Field, it was Young Men's Social Club 0, Devonshire Colts 1. At Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts 2, PHC Zebras 3. We await the start in about half an hour of the match at Devonshire Recreation Club between the Devonshire Cougars and Hamilton Parish, and hopefully we'll get some updates on that match as the show continues. And in the First Division, last night at BAA Field, it was Robin Hood 1, Vasco 0. And then at Wellington Oval today, it was Crossroads 1, Somerset Trojans 3. Well, Griff, obviously yesterday at Southampton Oval, the Dandytown Hornets would have wanted to stay in the running, stay close to North Village, who was also playing at the same time on a Saturday. But we keep saying, let your football keep talking and you stay out of the press. And I guess Kyle will be ruining his because it's not the first time it's happened that he's had a say before a game and he's ended up on the wrong side.
Again, like we all thought that Dandytown would be stepping up. So again, it's a case of Jekyll and Hyde. Which team shows up? Because this was a surprise, and I saw some Paget fans today, and they were upset that we were calling them underdogs in this game. But based on form, and they said, look, we won every game we played in the new year. Like, granted, yes, but Dandytown's also going for the league title, and Paget is not. So we would think in a do or die crunch situation they would handle that game. But
I'm gonna have to reach out to Kyle before the show ends to find out if it's gonna talk to the paper. Because if he does, I'm gonna have to go against Dandytown. So for the other coaches, pay attention. Keep your mouth shut, and you keep winning.
but have you seen the video going around of the goal that Paget scored?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, like that. It took. I don't want to cheapen the goal, but it took like a fluke goal from the other half of the field to beat the goalkeeper. Like, you're not supposed to be beaten from that distance.
No.
So it's a good goal. I don't want to call it a fluke, but
clearly the goalkeeper's a good goalkeeper because he's played Division I football for 4 years. He's back for a bit, but to be beaten from the other half, woo, boy, oh boy. Something.
I'm playing a game years and years ago of Somerset, and my goalkeeper was 6'3", and somebody chipped him from 20 yards. We got in the changing room. We lost our ever-loving mind on that goalkeeper. So, this to be beaten from the other half, I can't imagine what their teammates say to you.
Well, I mean, good for Paget because that continues their winning streak going into heading into the FA Cup semi-final match that they will have against Devonshire Cougars in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully they came away without any injuries. They start to get players back and look like they're going to be a threat to actually challenge for that FA Cup. But the camp must be feeling good about themselves. As long as they stay mad at us, they keep winning.
I asked when I saw the teams, I said, "Well, wait, was something wrong with Dion Stubble?" And they were like, "No, he can't make the team. He's not good enough." I said, "Wow." I said, "Well, if that's the case, then you got a real good team."
They only need Stubble when they have to need Stubble. And all that experience, you could save. He could save his legs and everything. But when they do need him, he's one of the players that will show up and show out when called upon. So if they're in a comfortable position, he'll gladly sit on the bench and let these youngsters keep running up and down.
So I didn't care to even brother said, "Well, hey, you got big games coming up. You're bringing him your college players. But we don't need them right now. We save them for later." I said, "Oh wow, you're real confident."
Well, again, congratulations to Patrick. Then we turn our attention to Bernard Park yesterday because obviously Wolves need to win to get off the bottom of the table. North Village need to win to stay above everybody and give themselves some breathing room. Obviously, for North Village, they came out on top 5-1. To get one goal from one of the leading goal scorers and not another goal from the other, but then get 2 goals from Trey Ming. North Village have a wealth of different scorers this season that has contributed to where they sit right now on the top of the table.
And I think 5-1 looks like a lopsided score, and I think the score is not indicative of what happened. I went to this game yesterday, and for the first 20 minutes, North Village created a lot of chances, but it looked like it was going to be one of those days where they just don't go in. There was some glaring misses, and I haven't seen Wolves play that much, but they didn't look that bad. Like, they have some really good players. So it surprised me that they're not doing better. Like, they were in this game for a long period of the game, and they made Village work for it. So Village got some late goals, and the score is somewhat flattering because they gave a good Village a good goal.
Yeah, Wolves have been a team that have been fighting all season. They've just not had the luck of the draw of getting the ball in the back of the net on a continuous basis in a game. They've struggled here and there. Giving teams a good fight for the money, but it's just that organization that has let them down. Where defensive errors have put them in deeper trouble than what they should have been in had they put some chances away, because they have created chances, but again, they just haven't. When you start looking at the fact that they've only scored 19 goals but given up 48. That doesn't look good when you're fighting a battle to stay up. They remain 6 points behind. 6 points behind Young Men Social Club. So technically they haven't been relegated yet, and neither have Hamilton Parish, depending on what they do tonight. They technically haven't been relegated because Social Clubs lost to Devonshire Coast today. But when you start looking at those things, it's desperate times now.
And just knowing like that's, we talked about Crossroads coming up, and there's one more team yet to be decided. Most likely to be Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Teams will look for other players, and looking at some of the Wolves players yesterday, they do have some tactically gifted players that are very decent. Teams will come to pick the cover to get those players that don't necessarily want to play in first division. So they'll have a hard time keeping on to some of those players.
Okay. And then let's actually turn our attention to the game at Police Field today, because battle of two tenants. Social Club would have wanted to get themselves really settled in the Premier Division, at least get a point, and Devonshire Colts wanted to keep pace with the likes of PHC, and knowing that Dandy Town lost yesterday, they can possibly get into second place. They are in third place on goal difference with PAC, 4 points behind North Village. So they're still within a shout of possibly winning the title, because if North Village do manage to slip up, they could slip in, and we remember Devonshire Colts last season where they went totally undefeated in the first division. Did not lose not a game, won every single game in league play, and they come here and prove to themselves that they belong in the Premier Division.
Yep, and they've done better than I think I expected. A lot of other people expected. They're in there fighting, and I think is a testament to the organization and structure. Yesterday at North Village's game, got there a little late. Notice Ray Jones was there, and he was there, I guess, because no other games, but solely because Village will play Colts coming up in the next week or so. Mm-hmm. He was there just trying to look for weaknesses in North Village, and I'd say he pointed out a few to us, and he said that's what he's going to try to exploit when they play. So they don't leave any stone unturned, and they're always prepared.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately for Social Club, they still have that look over the shoulder to do, because despite how badly Wolves and Hamilton Parish have been this season, there's still a possibility that they could sneak. One of them could sneak by them. They need some points to reassure themselves that they will play Premier Division football next season before the end of the season. You wanna be comfortable sitting there saying, okay, cool, now let's work towards next season. But they're one of the teams that are not comfortably in that position as of yet, because they have 14 points from 14 games. And when Hamilton Parish have 9 from 14, and they're, like I said, they're playing at the bottom of the hour against the Derbyshire Cougars. So, it's still a lot to play for.
But I think realistically and ultimately, I think Social Club will probably be safe. They're looking over their shoulder, and they've beaten some quality teams. Even this game today, we're seeing that Derbyshire Colts is a decent team and up near the top, and they're still fighting. Mm-hmm. This game, we knew it was going to be a battle, and I was tempted to pick a draw for this game because I couldn't see the difference between the two of them, and that draw would have been almost right. But in the end, I said, hey, Derbyshire Colts play well at Reese Field, and I gave them the edge. And so one of those brief times, I was right.
Yeah, I remember Social Club because of what they needed to do. They had to
right.
They had to go all out to try and to make themselves feel like they're safe. As you've said, as you've indicated, you feel as if they've done enough, but you still want to reassure yourself. And I figured today would have been a day at home against Devonshire Colts. You want to get the most out of any opportunity to kind of make yourself safe. So, unfortunately for them, they came out on the wrong end of a 1-0 defeat to Devonshire Colts, a second half goal. So, Social Club still have some work to do, and Devonshire Colts amazingly still can have a say because they do play North Village. North Village, they got some rough days ahead. So, having that 4-point lead gives them some breathing room because they could lose a game and still be league leaders by 1 point. But if they lose that game, it will make it very difficult.
Yeah. So I think Earl, you said something in there that you were rooting for the underdog. I think you must be one of those guys that secretly watch Lifetime Network and read a lot of Harlequin cards. You're looking for that underdog and a happy ending. So thankfully for me, that gets me 1 more point ahead of you. Yeah.
Well, let's take a commercial break. I did get a message from Punchy. I just need to kind of read it. So we'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have more of this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. We'll be right back.
It's time to lace up, Bermuda. The annual Lindos to Lindos race is back on Sunday, March 9th. Choose between the competitive 10K run or walk or the 4-mile non-competitive walk in aid of the Bermuda Diabetes Association. This isn't just a race, it's a tradition. These feet are made for walking. So walk with us in support of the Bermuda Diabetes Association. Visit racedayworld.com for more details and sign up. Lindos, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, British silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, we'll be joined by Punchy Deal momentarily. But Griff, yeah, the last Premier Division match that has been completed this weekend was at the Wellington Oval, where obviously PHC Zebras want to keep in touch with the North Village Rams. Again, they knew yesterday Dandytown Hornets lost, so they can go back into second place with a win over St. George's. St. George's, knowing that they wanted to come as high as they can in the league standings. St. George's held a 2-1 lead at the half, but PHC would score 2 second-half goals after St. George's would have a man sent off. But all in all, I mean, the battle is on to stay within reach of trying to retain their title for PHC.
Yeah, this is why picking games is so hard, and gambling will leave you broke. Because I went to this game today and I sat off with Troy Hall Jr. and he said they had eight players that didn't show up to play today. Like, that's crazy when you're at home at this time of the season. They said his brothers were both injured and they were playing because they didn't have anybody else. So like, what? I said that's a little crazy. What's going on? But despite that, they led the game twice. And I think the rare card was probably the difference. I would have thought that PHC would have been all over a depleted St. George's team, but they weren't. Like, St. George's should have won this game. And the rare card, even that, in the first half, the sweeper, he made a tackle. The PHC striker was going away to the corner flag, and he rushed in and slid it. That was the first yellow card. After that, he was on, like, had to play cautious.
Yeah.
And so then when he got the second yellow card, it was like, oh, man. Like that, and they had, like, 30 minutes to play with 10 men. I was like, well, surely, like, PHC is going to break them down. But it took PHC forever. And even after that, the Georges had chances. So this PHC team, as we say every week, is not the PHC team that's been winning the league over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Like, they struggle to get these 3 points.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can say, well, good evening, first of all, Punchy. Welcome.
Hey, you guys can hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Good evening again. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, indeed. We're here talking about the PHC St. George's game, but when you start seeing that, Griff, one of the things when in the back of your mind when you're in a position such as the position that PHC find themselves in as defending champions, you start the game, you're X amount of points behind the league leaders. You don't want to be the person making that mistake to cost your team. So you're playing a little more cautiously at times, and it don't look as fluent as it would if the season was still in the first half. You know what I mean? Where now every point makes a difference to whether or not you stay in, you could defend your title, or stay in the hunt to defend your title, or you just throw in the towel. Punchy, yeah, we're talking about the St. George's PAC game where PAC came from behind to defeat St. George's 3-2, and now they're 4 points behind North Village.
Yeah.
Just that. I don't know if you heard Griff say, St. George's had 8 players that didn't show up. Obviously, there's got to be something wrong there.
Oh, for sure. Like what? Really? I can't believe that. Wow. Is there internal fighting going on? I wonder what's going on really there because when you look at we guys, so I was picking them to win this game today.
Yes.
And but that it's funny really when you speak about that whatever happened in the FA Cup or if I've heard some talk about the squabblings that's going on or some things were going on down there that the public didn't know about. I don't know if it's with the management or it may be that, but to only show up there, like, is that indicative of what's going on in the country that maybe they're not gonna have to play for, so they don't show up?
Yeah, I lean towards that. I do lean towards once with some team or some players' mentality. Once they're out of every competition, if I haven't been a regular starter, I ain't coming training no more. I ain't showing up no more. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. That's the mentality of some that we have today.
Well, yeah, it seems.
So if they had injured players on the field today and they still stayed on the field when they went down to 10 men, to me, that I guess lack of a bench or support from your teammates, those injured players are only going to be worse off now that they had to struggle through that game.
So true. In the conditions that we had today.
Yeah.
We'll dress back a little bit, Punchy, because I want to hear your thoughts on with North Village now on 31 points, winning 5-1 yesterday. I'm pretty sure you would have had a look at that game. Just give us your thoughts on North Village so far.
They started off right on the front foot in that game. Jai Bean had a shot maybe in the third or fifth minute and struck the post. I got there late in the first half, but they looked like they were up for that game yesterday in terms of what they wanted to achieve yesterday. And I think what's so good about that is that's carrying their momentum into the FA semifinal with PAC.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They wanted to put a benchmark down yesterday in terms of the look. I talked to the players afterwards, and most of them saying they really want to win the league. The FA Cup is also right there for them also.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday's game, North Village, like I said, they were on the front foot a lot. And Wolves, I'm not going to talk about Wolves, but let me stick with North Village. What I was happy about is that their commitment. They got a lot, I thought they were really, really playing they weren't playing. I know they were playing to win, but they're also looking for a standard as the season, to make sure that nobody drops the guard, if I can use that terminology. And so they really put on, I thought, like after the first goal went in, and then the second went in, and then I wouldn't say Wolves laid down, but I thought that they kept with the intensity. And it became after 3-0. You knew that what was going to happen next. It was probably going to be how many and how good. And then he changed some players, but I still think that North Village looked really, really focused on what they wanted. The league and the FA Cup.
Yeah, good for them as they try to right those wrongs from last year, because we all talk about how on the last day of the season they lost to PAC up at the National Sports Center. They lost that league game to lose the league, and then they lost the FA Cup at the same venue. In dramatic fashion, they lost that game. And then to come back this year and try to correct it all and remain silent about it, like you haven't heard them talk about. This is why we're in the position we're in. This is what we want to be able to do. They're just going about the business of playing, getting the points that they need, and getting out of whatever venue they're in.
Yeah, I think as I said to you guys a couple of weeks ago, like there's been some games where you're like, wow, this is not really good football. But I
Mm.
think they've come to terms with that. But yesterday I think there was a lot of times when the team looked really focused on the way they were playing, and keeping the ball. They were allowed to. I think Wolves dropped off after the second game, after the second goal. But I just think that then the focus on the fact that they're gonna make that mistake again this year. You
Mm.
know, they don't want to have the same mistakes that were made last year. And why?
Right.
And again, I keep saying, watching their defensive behavior. I think they work hard. Everyone puts the work in when they lose the ball. I really have been happy with that. And they're becoming tough to beat. They're becoming tough to beat, even though there was kind of like against St. George's down there, when they lost to St. George's at in the game again at the field. But
Right.
I just think that for me, North Village has shown resilience at this time of the season.
Definitely. Definitely.
Punchy, before you came on, I had said that the score wasn't really indicative of what happened because it didn't. They got
Mm.
late goals, and in the beginning, like it was 1-0 in the first half,
Mhm.
and North Village goalkeeper Detroit Bell he pulled off a few saves in the first half, so it could very well have been 1-1 going into the half, and it was spirit around the field that it could be one of those days where if you miss your chances, it's gonna come back to haunt you. So it was that
Right.
particular one, and for long stretches of the game,
Mhm.
it was some bad football because it was just long ball after long ball after long
Yeah.
ball that was going out or going straight to the other goalkeeper. It was like it was no build up. The goals that they got in the end were from good patches of interplay, but a lot of the strategy game, it was just long balls. So it was boring to watch.
Yeah, I think you're right, Griffith. In terms of the discussion that I've had after the game with the coaching staff, and you know when you don't have a good passing team, there's a lot of times that you have to adapt. I don't think Norris is a great passing team out of the back. They just aren't. Um, so what do you do with that? Do you sacrifice losing to play good football, or do you sacrifice um, looking good and winning trophies? So I believe that's where they're at now mentally. Um, it's not a good watch, you're right, but it's still achieving the results that what they're looking for right now. And they didn't have a whole lot of good bench. Remember, they didn't have a whole lot of good attacking bench up in terms of okay, you take this person off, and there's quality coming on after that. So there's still a work in progress for me.
So did you see how Wolves got their goal?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
That came from a mistake trying to play it out of the back, like you said.
Yes, right. And I thought the goal that was scored, I think the person could have made about, when he kicked the ball and the ball rebounded back into the goal. But it was a mistake made out of the back. The ball was played out of the back and it was lost in the midfield. And three passes, later it was in the goal with the way it was what happened.
Yeah.
But for the last couple of games, they've not been a good watch, but the results have been what they are looking for right now.
So
sometimes.
in looking at Danny Ton, North Village, and KC, it seems none of them are playing really well coming out the game.
Yeah, but you can't. But we can't right now. We can't leave out Devonshire Coates because they're right there. They're tied with PAC, 4 points behind North Village. And just before you came up, Punchy, we were saying that North Village have that breathing room that if they lose a game, they still have a 1 point lead. It's just a matter of how do they recover from that, and again, they will be going into games looking over their shoulder, making sure let's take care of what we got to take care of. It don't have to look pretty, but it has to be at the end of the day. We have to get the 3 points. So
and you can look at the last 3 games. Who they got? Who they're playing against?
Yeah,
it ain't easy games.
No, sir, because
North Village plays Devonshire Coates. So that's
first of all, I gotta play the Paget Lions.
That's right. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It is. It's getting to the point where and
obviously Paget's gonna want to stake a claim in who decide who wins the league, and if they can be that thorn in that side, they have that opportunity to do so.
Hey,
I don't
so
think they. Mhm.
can we satisfy
Yeah,
the pageant viewers, listeners, and say the 30 favorites for that game? Let's keep them happy.
I can tell you now, they ain't coming down to North Village to do us any favors. No,
You can
No,
almost
they are not.
guarantee that they're not coming to do no favors. No.
they ain't doing no favors of BAC. No, they're not.
Hope the plucky underdogs, North Village, can put up a good fight.
Wow. Yeah, really. Wow. Yeah.
The league leaders are the underdogs. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, let's take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the first division, but also we want to get into the matches that the select matches that Bermuda had with Rhode Island and Portland. Just to talk about some of the team selections and how the teams made out. But we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more with the Island Stats Sports Show. We'll be right back.
Sense beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Legis Island's proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Legis Island's proudly Bermudian. Legis Island's proudly Bermudian.
Stay refreshed and on track with Viva Zero Calorie. With all the taste and none of the calories, Viva is your perfect companion for workouts, busy days, or just relaxing. Distributed by John Barrett and Sons and available at Lindo's, Viva Zero Calorie brings you the hydration you crave without compromise. Viva, your zero-calorie hydration solution. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
They're just putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
And welcome back. Well, gentlemen, Bermuda Select had the opportunity to play two matches this past week. One was against the Portland Hearts of Pine, where they lost 2-0, and then they lost 6-0 to Rhode Island. We saw what Rhode Island was able to produce last season in their preseason in Bermuda, beating the national team. But this time around, the select team kind of held their own until late in the game and gave up, many goals in late in the game. But overall, what Punch? Give me your thoughts on what the coaching staff of the national team would have been able to see with the players that they chose to play in these two select games.
Well, Earl, I tell you what, the amount of people, the people that I've talked to, and that there's just there's a gap, there's a level that we haven't reached. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a level. There's a huge gap in terms of we need to be playing more of these games. First of all, You know, and the other thing is that you could see when the better players came on, especially in the second game, that the quality. And then you know, we're talking about we're getting on talking about amateur players and preparation and you know, it's a great it's a great to be playing it against those teams, but we have to learn from that. That's what I'm concerned about, especially the local based players. And with that in mind, we got to start thinking about what Griffiths. I'm glad Griffith. I'm gonna bring this full circle in terms of the quality of play and how we play. And you know, Norfolk is living on top of the league. They're in a good position to win the FA Cup, but how they're playing now? What is the type of football? You know, it's again, it's good to be exposed to that, but it's also what can we learn from those particular results.
Yeah, I hear you on that too, Punchy, but I think what I noticed today at the St. George's game, a
Mhm.
lot of the players were slipping and sliding, and it's like it was a little bit of moisture in the beginning because it rained and it rained during the game. So like where the cricket pitch is in the field, it's like roller skating through there. And at this time of the season, February, March, April, a lot of the fields are chewed up and the ball's not rolling through. It's bumpy, it's patchy here and there. At Bernard Park, the field is unusually decent, but that's because it hasn't been played on all season. So the surfaces that we play on there also play a part. So
Mhm.
how can we advance the surfaces without, like, every club doesn't have the funding to do artificial turf. So if that's not it, how do you get decent
Mhm.
surfaces at every field?
I think that's a good point also. What do you do when you now go up to national stadiums, completely different surface, and you're playing against that quality, and you could see just really, I just you could pinpoint all the mistakes. You could see the physical condition of the players also, and technically how the setup, the formations. I think when you look at what Finley says, when you read what Finley says, and you watch the game, it's like, well, yes, we put up a good fight, but are we still? Let's be honest about. Are we still technically not? The players technically are they at that level? And we're talking about the USL, which is a very good. You saw that he's a very good team, and Kendo is doing a great job with what he had. He's doing a great job. Yeah, but I'm glad that what do we learn from this? And when he came here the last time, we were beaten bad also in both games. The second game was a little bit better, but the score, I mean, it's questions to be asked about. Is it the coaches? What level are we at, man? And we're being exposed. Really, if that's the right terminology for it, we're being exposed at what we need to be better at, and then why when we get to senior level we're not. And so I think, right, Griffiths, with the surfaces that you're talking about, also the type of surfaces that these players play on, especially a police field, you know what that's like. It's not an excuse, but I just think that also be something that's got to be talked about. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to determine. I mean, at least discuss that if we're going to be losing like this at the national level with the home-based players, why? And those questions have got to be answered. One
thing we were querying. I was away last week in Trinity watching the under-20s, so I didn't see any of this. We wondered, did they use two different starting 11s for these games to see as many players as possible, or did they just juggle?
They changed it around. Yeah,
they changed it around. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
so they
did
so
change it around.
They got to see a greater cross section of players.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's what they were looking for. I don't know. I just not that I don't know, but the amount of people I've talked to and who watched the game, the reflection is that, again, the quality of the individuals, the team setup, it's got to be better. We've got to start really. We've got to look at domestic league and think about.
I've made this point to other people because it's that every generation, the graybeards always say that their generation was better, and this generation, football's not the same, but it's very difficult now. I try to stick up for the new generation. Right now, we are, I think, victims of our own success because most of the better players are overseas, either playing professionally or in academies or in school. So if you take half of the best players out of any league, it's not going to be as good. And so if you're not playing against the best week in and week out because they're overseas or whatever, like your standard can only go so far.
Well put. I think you hit. Yes, that's another good point. Also, that's for sure. That's really for sure. But again, with you guys, I just think that the gauge and these games, and I'm really glad we're having them, so we can see exactly. We can have these discussions about what we need to do at the local level, the Bermuda-based players, and what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we have,
Is it more organizational skills that we need to do, at the club level, and then just inject it into the national level? Because you don't have to have. I mean, I understand what Griff you're saying, where majority of the better players are overseas, but it's organizing what you have, to be able to produce something.
Yeah. Well, we can go on in this conversation. Look at the results of the tournament that we just had, also, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tournament that we just had, was it a lack of the coaching, or was it lack of the quality of players, especially against the Canadians and against the Curaçaos? Are they that far advanced? And a lot of those players from the under-17, some of them were overseas based,
Right.
but we're still coming up short. And and that's a question also. To me, that's another discussion to be held. Why? And it's got to be really. I mean, it should be a concern for us all in terms of why we are coming up short at the national level. And the under-17 tournament was, again, nice tournament, a good preparation. It's good. It's a gauge for where we are, and you could see that there's a lot to do. And how many of those players were playing overseas?
Yeah.
For the under-17.
I think games against a team like Canada on a regular basis will give us an indication where our football is going, because they are a powerhouse in our region, and only one flight away, where if we build a relationship with them, we could possibly be playing some of their A division teams, as practice matches, so to speak, to gauge, because just as we often say, we could train every day. If you're not playing higher quality to get yourself into that gear to understand what the level that you need to get at, if you're not playing it on a regular basis, you're not going to be able to, achieve what's necessary for you to achieve.
Yeah, I just think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I hear what you're saying, but like for somebody like, let's take Canada, like why do they want to play us? Like if I'm going to beat you 8-9-0, like what are my players getting out of that? I need to go play somebody else that's going to challenge my team so I can find out where my weaknesses are. Maybe female players, maybe they should be playing against lower age group male players together, so they don't have to travel. Or I don't know what it is, but you're not going to get people that want to come here and play Bermuda.
I'm a firm believer of this, Griff, and I say this in our cricket as well. If the big boys in our region help the little boys in the region becomes stronger. If the big boys decide to hell with you minnows, then the region becomes shorter and not as strong as it could be. You want more teams to be as strong. Why would we just want Canada and USA to be strong? Why not have minnows?
Yeah.
So you have to help out the people that are below you to make so when they go represent the region, because when Bermuda goes and plays a European team, they're not just representing Bermuda, they're representing the region. When Canada go and play somebody outside, when USA go play somebody outside, they're representing the region. We look at it as CONCACAF.
Well, I got you. I see Griffith. I'm also in agreement with Griffith also, and I see both sides of what we're talking about here, because those teams like United States, I remember years ago when they were coming in often, and then they're now a powerhouse.
Yeah,
you're not going to get the United States here just to come to Bermuda. And Griffith, with your comment about that is very true. But if they didn't come, like, how can we gauge that? Where would we go? Who would we need to? And again, adding to what you're saying, Griffith and Earl, your argument, your what you were saying, we need to be playing these teams. Plus, we need to still be on. We need playing against, whether it's Antigua, whether it's Panama. Well, you know, Panama's a powerhouse now. It's become a powerhouse also, right? I'm talking about Dominican Republic also, that have beaten us.
Yeah.
So there is a cause for concern. We have to, again, having shows like this and talking about it and discussing it. The other thing I want to say, let's say I want to add to this is Andrew's team went to the tournament, and that's another, you know, another chat. They won. They were very good in the tournament in Florida. But then you look at, well, let's see what the quality we're playing against. You know, they were successful with his teams. So there is, you know, there is some the argument, and we've got to find a solution for this, and we have to continuously talk to people, try to find our coaches, the coaching system at the youth level. It's paramount. It's important. We having a technical director, and I still don't know what Finn's job is, but a technical director that oversees our whole program as a whole, and even in the club level. And we you know, again, I don't have all the answers.
Is it Maurice Lowe the technical director?
I think Maurice Lowe is it. Okay, he's the technical director. Yeah. But at one time, I think that job was about the person who was at one time with the Alan Joneses, and I think before that person that incorporated all of that. He was in charge of all of that, and I think it's changed now. Maybe it's too demanding just to have a coach and being the technical director also. Yes. But I think we see the exercise why we're still coming up short. I mean, real short in these competitions. So at the national level.
Yeah, going back to your point though, on the playing them, what Earl was saying, like we have to help each other. I think to a degree, it is happening now in CONCACAF and CFU. We go about more now, a lot of like televising the games, sharing of the money that comes from television, the access to coaching, the access to technical expertise, access to refereeing. We get sharing on it. We're getting that part, but frankly, when it comes down to actual games and your FIFA rankings, that's where like all your bravado is. Nobody's gonna help you go up the rankings. Like that's where the friendliness, that's where it stops.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the United States and Canada are powerhouses in world football now.
Yeah,
you know,
in all divisions too.
In all divisions.
Yeah, right up and down. Yeah,
and you have to look at what they've done. I mean, that's a large country, of course. That's both two big countries. Look at the coaches that come in from Europe that get the citizenship, and you know the coaching at club level.
Yeah.
The club level at the under 17 or in Canada, United States is not poor. It's good. It's good football. Yeah. And even the college teams are good. So the top college teams in the United States are not pushovers. So you put all that together, and we keep saying, I mean, we keep looking for the right answers, and it's gonna take time. We have to become, I guess, you know, the solutions to this is still going to be discussed, and you know, but it's no reason why we can't continue on and trying, and you know, you have to keep
trying. You have to keep trying.
Yeah.
Could you ever see somebody like Jurgen Klinsmann in our lifetime say, "Hey, you know what? I think I'd like to be coach of Bermuda." Now that happened. Hey,
no.
Let's try Zidane. Maybe it's not doing anything, but they have the financial might and the corporate sponsors to pull off something like that.
That's right. Yeah, but look who's coaching the United States now, the top national team, Pochettino and his group. Yeah. It's not, it's really, like I said, when we have the discussions, you know, it's really, and you hear so many of me speak to Bermudians, the Bermudian public about this. There's a lot of different opinions, but I think they're leading back to what Griffith said, what we're talking about. You know, the money situation here, you know, what it is, how much, you know, for the FA, for the association here, to continuously let these guys go overseas and do training camps and then play in tournaments. Is that possible? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's turn our attention back to the first division, where last night Robin Hood edged Vasco 1-0. Robin Hood keep an opportunity for them to be in the promotion race alive, with the fact that they just kept themselves in the hunt for finishing third place, because the only team that could, other than Boulevard, be promoted along with Crossroads is the Somerset Trojans. But Robin Hood done enough, 1-0 to defeat Vasco. When you look at the young Vasco team, Griff, bottom of the table, but they haven't been real pushovers all season.
This is a little surprising. I thought that Robin Hood would do better. I thought they would win, but it's squeaking by 1-0. I guess Vasco is pushing forward, and I guess again in both leagues, when you're at the bottom of the table, that's when players give up, or they start doing also. They stop coming training, and it gets more difficult to put up a competitive team at the bottom. But that's what Vasco.
Yeah. And a team like Robin Hood early in the season, Punchy, we were talking about, we consider them one of the favorites to not only just get promoted but win the league. But they're battling right now for a spot to finish in third. That's all they can play for right now. Are you a bit surprised by that?
Yeah, the fall off from them, from what we thought about them in the beginning of the season and what it's turned into now. That's another thing too. When you start sliding down the table, you're not winning games. What kind of you look at the team, and it's a young team, and don't forget it's also the players from the certain academies that are playing for Robin Hood, right? So the makeup, I think the makeup of that team. What do they do when they're struggling in times like that? After Christmas, because it always looks like teams like that struggled after the Christmas holiday.
Yeah,
the players going back to school, the team loses momentum. What do you do? And I don't know if they have enough quality there or seniority there to keep up the pace. I don't see them being promoted.
Yeah, well, technically, mathematically, they can't be promoted. They can't catch.
That's Boulevard. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, they can't catch Boulevard.
But there was a game, another first division match today. League champions, we can call them league champions because no one could catch them. Crossroads took on the only other team that can possibly be promoted mathematically in the Somerset Trojans, and Somerset Trojans came out on top 3-1 to keep their hopes of overtaking the Boulevard Blazers in the first division to get promoted. Somerset done themselves a favor just by winning that game to keep their hopes alive. Slim hopes. They need help from other teams, but you got to do what you got to do in order to keep it going. But obviously, we were surprised because we all picked Crossroads
to win that game.
Yeah.
So I know Crossroads has clinched. So is it a case that they sat players, or that they weren't up for this, or what is it? Or is Somerset still trying to push? Because Somerset's up and down like pretty good. It's hard to pick which Somerset's going to show up.
Yeah, without seeing the game, I'm pretty sure Crossroads would have wanted to beat a team like Somerset Trojans, because right now, being that they've already wrapped up the league, you want to start, as we've already spoken about this a number of times, you want to start looking at competition level in the Premier Division. So you want to be able to be producing things week in and week out that you're going to be able to do, or you're going to have to do come next season.
Yeah, that's true.
You really got to look at Derbyshire Colts last season. They had the wrapped up by like beginning of February.
Right.
And didn't lose a single game. And look what's propelled them this season.
Yeah, that's true, you guys. Because and I was gonna make that point. Good point, Griff. If you're leading like that and you've already clinched, you still got to have some type of integrity with results. And I don't think that boded well today for them to be losing to Somerset. At home too. I think they was home too, weren't they?
The game was at Wellington Oval today.
It was at Wellington Oval. Okay. Yeah. But I just don't think it was well. I think I would have liked to. From us, I know we were thinking like all of we were thinking, yeah, this should be a victory for them.
And I'm pretty sure some Boulevard people would have been looking out for this result as well, because had Somerset lost or gotten 1 point, then Boulevard automatically would have clinched that second spot. But they have another week to wait, and then it's on their shoulders to do so. So let's take a quick look at our picks. Griff will be smiling because as we went into the weekend, I had 28, Punchy had 28, and Griff had 29. And then we done the matches. Dandytown, we all took Dandytown to beat Paget. Paget won that 1-0.
Sorry, Paget. Sorry, Paget.
We all took Norfolk to beat Wolves. We all got the point there. Punch and I took St. George's. Griff took PHC, so 3-2 win. Griff gets a point up on us. I took Social Club. You both took Devonshire Colts, and Devonshire Colts won that 1-0.
Yes, sir.
The match, we've all taken Devonshire Cougars for this late game that's on at this time. And we all took Robin Hood to beat Vasco last night. And we all took Crossroads to beat Somerset, but Somerset would end up winning that match. So right now, as it stands, I got 3, Punchy got 4, and Griff, you got 5. So Griff now leads on 34. Punchy's on 32, and I am on 31.
Hey,
so
you saw that? That was me going past you guys.
It's all right. You still got 3 weeks to go. We still got weeks to go, Griff. So anything can happen. Anything can happen. I think this will be the week that it happens. On Friday night, PHC will entertain Young Man Social Club at PHC Stadium. I'm gonna take PHC. Punchy.
I'm gonna take PHC. Yeah.
And Griff.
PHC. They confused me, but I have to go to PHC.
Okay. On Saturday at Police Field, Devonshire Colts host St. George's Colts. Punchy.
You know, I think I'm gonna take Devonshire Colts for this. I think that loss and what happened today, I don't think they're playing for anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna go with Devonshire Colts. They're not gonna. It's gonna be probably the same scenario next week.
Yeah. Griff.
This is Devonshire Colts and George's at Police Field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on what I saw today, if they had problems getting a full team at home, and Devonshire Colts is still fighting, this is easy. Devonshire Colts.
Yeah. I put down Devonshire Colts as well, playing at home to beat St. George's Colts. On Sunday, this is a big match at the Wellington Oval, and Griff, you're up first.
Damn it.
Hamilton Parish host Wolves.
Oh. Do we know the score of the game this evening? Any score yet?
Not as of yet. I haven't gotten an idea of what the score is yet.
I'll give Hamilton Parish.
Okay, Griff takes Parish. You know what? I'm going to take. I think Wolves a little more organized. I'm going to take Wolves for this game to beat Parish.
Mm-hmm.
Punchy?
Okay. I'm going to take Hamilton Parish. I'm going to go with Griffin on this.
Okay.
I just think that when it comes to the last game, I think both teams are doomed. But I think in terms of respect and I think Hamilton Parish will beat them. I think they'll show up with now Wolves are going to show up with a full team. Trust me. But I think Parish is probably going to beat them.
Hey, can I give you guys that trailing me some advice? You guys got to get brave and pick some draws.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how many draws have been in this country this season.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Right.
Definitely. Okay, and then on Sunday it is the Dandytown Hornets will host Devonshire Cougars at BAA Field. I'm going to go with. I think I've already given Kyle his mandate and not to speak to the media, so I'm going to go with Dandytown. Punchy?
Oh, that's tough. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with this for a draw.
Oh, you. Hey, I was just gonna say I'm gonna be brave, and I'll be the one to take the draw. I'll take a draw too.
You can take a draw. Okay. All right. So, Punchy, you're up. I hate to be the for this one to be first. At Bernard Park, North Village host Paget.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Hey, listen. Before I even make whatever say anyway. I've seen Devonshire. I saw St. George's come down and beat us. And I keep saying we. And we were beaten down there also by I'm sorry, who else would beat us? St. George's beat us. And we didn't play that well. We came back and we lost at the last minute. This, playing a game against Paget, it's gonna be not easy. But I still think that I give North Village the edge in this one by the odd goal.
North Village. Okay. North Village. Okay. Griff?
My turn?
Yep.
Oh, this is rough. I want to be brave again and pick a draw, but I can't. I feel like it's going to be a result in this game. And I saw the first game at Rangers, and it was close. And so I'm going to probably annoy Paget fans some more and pick against them again. I'm going to go North Village.
I'm going for the upset. I think because Paget beat North Village up at Southampton Oval.
Yes, they did.
They'll look to do the double, and they're riding high right now. So I'm going to take Paget to win this game here.
You guys, Paget's got a lot to play for.
Yes.
They got a lot to play for.
They want that momentum going into the FA
That's
Cup.
right, FA Cup. Yeah. So this is one of the things I'm still going to go with with North Village, but like Griffin, like you both saying, this is going to be one of those real battles.
This should be an entertaining game.
It's going to be an entertaining game.
Sure. On Saturday night in the First Division, the Boulevard Blazers could gain that spot if they defeat St. David's. Griff, you're up. It's Boulevard versus St. David's.
Yes, thank you for this little lollipop. Boulevard.
Okay, and I'm going to take the Blazers as well.
Yep.
There's three Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we're correct, next week we'll be talking about the Boulevard Blazers joining Crossroads in the Premier Division next season. And then Crossroads on Sunday take on Vasco. I think after today's loss, the coach is going to want to right that ship. So I'm going to take Crossroads. Punchy?
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, Al. They're going to right that ship, especially against Vasco, Yeah. And so I'm going to go Crossroads with that.
Sure. And Griff?
Anybody else out there in the internet know if Donovan Thompson and Paul Simons went through the airport? Are they on vacation? Would they be at this game? I'm hoping they'll be playing, so I'll take Crossroads.
Okay, all right. And then the final match, Southampton Rangers host Somerset Eagles at Southampton Oval. I'm going to go with... oh, boy. This one's a toughie because these two teams are so unpredictable. You know what? I'm going to take Eagles for this game.
Ooh.
Punchy?
I'm gonna go with no. I'm going with Rangers for this. I don't think both teams have anything to play for
Right.
out about integrity, but I would think with Rangers home, it's coming down to the last couple of games. I think they'll win this.
Okay. Griff?
Yeah, I'm going for a nice little 5-4 game. Tons of goals, no defense. Rangers.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, there you have it. That's the picks for next week.
Earl, can I ask something? Right, I think for this show, you get most of the banter, annoyance, and other comments about these picks, and I think some people take it personally. Some people think it's fun, but I think perhaps next year we could look into some sort of app and let everybody else out there let them do the picks as well.
Well, remember a few weeks ago, I offered people to do picks and just send me their picks.
Right.
But the thing is, see, a lot of people like to challenge you one-on-one,
Yes.
right? And instead of having their name out there that didn't do as well as, because you get a lot of critics
Yes.
after the fact.
Yes.
You should have done this, you should have done that. Well, your opportunity to be part of the pick selection is right there for you. You can do it.
I think
I do have an update from Devonshire Recreation Club right now. It is Hamilton Parish 1, Devonshire Cougars 0.
Ooh.
Wow. Here we go.
What?
Here we go.
Earl, your pick's forwarded for next week. You still got to see if Wolves.
Yeah, and I like that question too, Griffith. Wow, we're gonna get a surprise. We're gonna get surprise. I think we're gonna in for some surprises next week also.
Yeah.
But I think also about what you guys said, inclusion with people. Like you said, you open it up for people to include them.
Yeah.
Give us your story.
Somewhere out there in the world is an app that we can do this on, and I think you're right. People shouldn't be allowed to enter on the app unless they use their real name. I don't want
something. Yeah.
Shorty top of Boulevard Blazer 159. I want your real name, earn your picks, and so we can see you crash and burn like us. Because I'm pretty sure if it's 160 games between Premier and First Division, nobody's going to go 160 and 0. So
right.
Yeah.
I would like to see what everybody else does if they think it's so easy.
Yeah. That'll be a good one. And next year it's gonna. I mean, I can see it's gonna be a doozy. I'm telling you. But these last weeks, for anyone watching the show tonight, these last 3 weeks of football are gonna be, especially for the places for the champ, to win the league, and also for the FA Cup, and also down at the First Division.
Yeah.
It's gonna be surprises.
It's gonna be very surprising. Actually, in public, and they get on and support it.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you because we do have another update from Devonshire Recreation Club. Hamilton Parish still lead 1-0, but they're down to 10 men. They've had a man sent off.
How much time left in that game?
We're still in the first half. We're still in the first half.
Oh yeah, that's a wrap. Man. That's a wrap. Cougars will come back.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
For your pick sake, well, it don't make a difference for our pick sake, but yeah. The Devonshire Cougars would want to rectify that ship as quickly as possible to do what they got to do.
Good. Going back to our picks and the fans, I was accused that our picks are biased, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what bias you think's out there." Yeah, I think you got a lot better chance of proving that I'm just dumb making bad picks than biased. We're just picking trying to get it.
Well, prove was wrong. Not just the odd game,
The opportunity is there for anyone to put on what they think the picks will be and share them with us and then see how it turns out for them. You might be a genius 1 week, but then after a few weeks, it goes to show you that, teams are not the same week in and week out.
No, they're not. No, they're not. And I said again, right now this time of the year, it's like winner take all. That's it. Especially it's coming on to that winner take all, and we're gonna see a game. I think we're in for a real treat on next Sunday, down at Bernard Park. I think so.
Next Sunday at Bernard Park, will decide whether North Village sweats it out to win the league
Yep.
or comfortably wins the league.
The league. Good.
So,
Good comment.
yeah.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
well put.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
If they can get over Paget, they will cruise to that league title because they'll only need 1 point from there to win the league with 2 games left.
Yeah.
So you take it from there. But again, they still have that Devonshire Colts game, which if they lose to Paget, that Devonshire Colts game then becomes
critical. Yeah,
very critical.
Very critical. It becomes critical. That's pressure. So I'm sure, and I know the coaching staff in North Village watches this program, and so it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's critical.
definitely.
What do you do in these moments?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
And well, we'll see. We will see.
Definitely. Well, before we go, one last update from Devonshire Recreation Club.
What all?
10 men, Hamilton Parish now lead 2-0.
Get the hell out of here. See?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gambling
Okay.
all of us.
Hamilton Parish 2, Devonshire Cougars 0 at the Devonshire Recreation Club. So
I'm still calling a 4-2 Cougars win.
I got you. I got you, Griffin. Yeah.
Okay.
They're up 45 minutes.
Hate mail now.
Oh, wow.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much. We'll be back next week, Sunday, with another edition of the Island Stats Football Show. Hopefully, we have a good week, and we have some exciting football next weekend, starting with that Friday night match, Young Men Social Club and PHC, and then obviously that Saturday match, Devonshire Colts trying to stay in contact with the North Village Rams because PHC and Devonshire Colts can close the gap to 1 before North Village kick off on Sunday.
That's right.
And that will be something that they would have to look over their shoulder, the North Village Rams, when they take on the Paget Lions at Bernard Park, 3 o'clock on Sunday, where I'm pretty sure there'll be a bumper crowd there to see what goes on, especially if PHC win and Devonshire Colts win. Their fans and their teams will be out there to cheer on Paget to see if they can actually pull off a double on North Village in the league. So we'll see how that goes. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, enjoy your night.
All right, take care.
Okay.